think you'd like to see the team do better this year? Some things
I would say it's really not about comparing last year to this year. I think it's more about maximizing ourselves, finding our own way, because we are going to have new guys in new roles. I think that's really what it comes down to, and finding our chemistry as a staff, finding our chemistry as a team. Ultimately, I think that's probably it, and then continually grow as the season goes on.
Ryan, you lost so many key players, great leaders from last year's team. So you got a lot of new faces this year, but you have arguably the best offensive player in college football coming back, maybe the best defensive player too. What advantage did that give you to kind of retool this team around those two guys?
Well, they both, on offense, Jeremiah certainly, requires a lot of attention. So he makes everybody else on the field better because of that. And we have a lot of weapons on offense. So it takes some pressure off the other players. It takes some pressure off the quarterback. It puts more pressure on the coaches to find ways to get them the ball. On defense, Caleb is like a coach out there. This is somebody who not only sets a great example on the field, but off the field and how he handles himself. If you've been around him today, you just see the way he's like a pro. When he speaks, he's thought it all the way through. And I think that the guys recognize that. And when your top players are your hardest workers, then it just sets the right culture moving forward. So to me, that's probably it. And then, as we solve problems and continue to grow as a team, and on each side of the ball as the season goes on, those guys will lead the way on it. And again, when your best players are your hardest workers, you take a guy like Sonny Styles. He's one of the best players we've had in a long time at Ohio State. I just believe he's going to have a great year this season. And he's one of our hardest workers and a great leader. Just another example. You guys didn't get a chance to see all of our players today, but I think, some of them may not be as well known as the ones we just talked about, but soon they will be.
I wonder if you're quarterbacks immediately next week.
Yep. As much as possible, yeah. That pressure started a long time ago by me for sure, and I just think that's how you do it, and then you can kind of build their confidence as you go. But you gotta provide that pressure so that they understand what comes with being the quarterback at Ohio State, and it's our job to make practice harder than the game, and to put them in game situations, and then see how they respond. And then when they do have success or failure, how quickly can they learn and grow and get better from both of those types of things. So that's our job as coaches, and I'll be right in the middle of it.
Ryan, you talk to people out there that say that Ohio State was the team that NIL built, right or wrong. What would you say this team, how it was built this year?
Yeah, I don't think that we really listen to a lot of that stuff. I think people ask me all the time about how, when you're at Ohio State and you're in the public eye, how do you shield that from the players? Well, you can't, because families read it, the kids read it, recruits read it, so you don't get away from it. But at the same time, I don't think it really affected our team, because the truth is, we knew that wasn't the case. When you start to find out maybe what some other teams were, providing their players in terms of NIL, you realize that maybe it wasn't that out of whack. Actually, I know it wasn't. But that never really, decided who we were as a team. It was about a bunch of guys who decided to come back. And the fourth and fifth year seniors are the ones that really galvanized the team when we went through adversity last year. That's the same thing with this season. We feel like we have a bunch of guys who, every time they hear about last year's team and they hear about the guys that left, I think it just motivates them more, because they're tired of hearing about that. This is their team, and that's good. We want an angry team playing against Texas in 39 days. So, it's yet to be seen, but the work ethic's been there, and I think we're all excited to see what this team looks like. As you know, I've never really had a feel for when the right time is. I think it's important for the locker room to believe in whoever that is. I think that's, for me, being a quarterback and being around it, when the locker room believes in that guy, that's the right time. If the locker room doesn't believe in one, then you kind of keep trying to give them opportunities for someone to grab onto the team. It didn't happen for Will until he got into the preseason.